This week in Today's Schools, we'll be meeting some of the amazing tech-savvy students at Hartwell Primary School that not only know their way around a computer, but lend a hand to their fellow students and even help out some of their teachers. We get a chance to talk to some creative architects that are designing the schools of tomorrow. We get to play with the prep kids at Malvern Primary who spend some time every week learning maths and literacy skills through role plays. At Emerald Primary, just up the track from Puffing Billy, the kids are working with Yarra Valley Water on some great water-saving initiatives. And we hear some great music from the talented musicians at Luther College, amazing new innovations from Mr Gadget, and much, much more in Today's Schools. We're about to meet the student technicians at Hartwell Primary School, as well as speak with one of the creators of this innovative technical program. Each student technician is taught IT problem-solving skills so they can teach other students to solve technical computer problems. And guess what? These kids even get to teach their teachers.
My name's Julia and I'm the ICT teacher here at Hartwell. We started the student technician program this year because I really wanted to give students an opportunity to further engage in ICT as well as to be able to support their peers and their teachers.
I like being a technician because it's fun to help other people.
We have 2 students from every grade, from grade 1 to grade 6, and they are selected based on their ICT skills as well as their potential for leadership. The program runs each unit for a week at a time, and basically I teach the kids lots of troubleshooting tips and how to support their fellow students in certain software that we're using. So basically they kind of get to extend their own skills so that they can then teach it to other students as well as staff members.
I like being a technician because I enjoy teaching other people how to do things that they don't know.
I get really great feedback from the parents saying that these students go home and help them out at home, their siblings as well as their parents.
At home, what I do is help my brother and sister and my mum and dad on the computer when they need some help.
I can help Mum and my sister because they're not exactly, they're pretty good, but sometimes they need some help.
Being a technician does help me at home because I have a lot of trouble with my computer, and because I've learnt these skills at school, I know how to fix it.
So sometimes there are quite tricky tech problems that come up and with parents and teachers and students, but the students seem to be able to cope with that and be able to sort through the problems and come up with a solution using their troubleshooting knowledge.
The hardest problem I've had to solve is when somebody saved their work in a different folder and I couldn't figure out how to shift it into the right folder and it just wouldn't move.
The best problem the kids have learnt how to solve is we have so many laptops in the school and I've taught them about all the error messages that appear on the screen. So we set up a system where the kids can identify the error message and then they leave a little note for the technician to say what the problem is, and we log the jobs and therefore we're getting things fixed more quickly than usual.
The way I fix computers usually is that I check the basics to see if anything's wrong there, and then if it's all okay there, then it's fine.
So the kids are so enthusiastic about this program. They come in and ask me, Ms Cattell, when's our next training going to be? And they get really, really excited every time we do have training because they're just so engaged in it and they love being able to help their teachers and fellow students learn something new.
When I leave school, I want to be a technician and help other people with their technology problems.
I probably want to be a technician because I've learnt so much at school.
It'd be pretty good to be a technician because I know quite a bit about it already.
I want to be a technician and help lots of other people because I love computers.
The computer in your mobile phone is 1,000,000 times cheaper and 1,000 times more powerful and about 100,000 times smaller than one computer in 1965. So what used to fit in a building now fits in your pocket.
Good morning, Mr Grossack. Thank you for these 60 seconds with us. We have a few questions for you. The first one is, what school did you go to?
Good morning, Ben. Thank you for your time. I went to Mr Primary School, a small school of 34 children near Warragul.
What was your favourite subject?
My favourite subject was mathematics. I always liked numbers and I happened to be good at it, so that's probably why I liked it.
Where did you first teach?
Nearham North Primary School, a small rural school of 14 children north of Warragul is where I first taught.
How long have you been a principal at Berwick Lodge?
22 years.
What do you think about education today?
I think education today is very exciting and it's full of opportunities for children.
What do you think about students today?
I think students deep down are much the same as students have been since I was a student. I like them.
Interesting.
What's the biggest change you've seen in education?
Oh, computers have had the biggest impact on education by a long, long way.
Definitely. What is the best part of your job?
The best part of my job, there's many parts, but I always enjoy graduation night because that's the night we celebrate the completion of all the achievements of children.
What are your hobbies?
Writing, my own radio program, current affairs radio program on Casey Radio, and following the Collingwood Football Club.
What's the worst part of your job?
Suspending children and making tough staffing employment decisions.
Thank you for your time, Mr Grossack.
And thank you, Ben and Jess, for taking the time to ask me these very interesting questions.
Coming up after the break, we meet some leading architects who are involved in designing not classrooms, but innovative learning spaces for today's schools. The architects who design today's schools do so with learning outcomes and teaching styles in mind. They look at so many different aspects: lighting, heating, that there's a variety of spaces, the effect on the environment, and also sustainability. And there's lots of consultation with teachers and students.
Many of our projects are new schools and refurbishments of schools, and certainly school architecture has changed a lot in the last 10 to 20 years. The old school format was what we call cells and bells. Classrooms set up a corridor, and when students would go to those classrooms, and then the bell would ring, and then people would shuffle and change into the next period and the next classroom. The form of teaching has changed as well. It's gone from instructional teaching, which is the old form, and the form of furniture in the old types of schools is very inflexible. There was no ICT, no computers, and the relationship to outdoors wasn't really there. Some of the specialist areas, such as library and art, were remote from the classroom areas, and so the traditional form of teaching and traditional form of school architecture has changed considerably.
I have. Probably over the last 10 to 15 years there's been an enormous change. One of the biggest changes, I guess, is going from the traditional classroom into spaces that accommodate more students, allow a lot more flexibility in the way teachers can group their students. Students can now have small groups and large groups. ICT has played a major role in that students can freely move from one space to another, and certainly teachers are now becoming more facilitators than imparting knowledge. The encouragement now is for students to take responsibility for their own learning, and for, as I said, for the teachers to become facilitators in that process.
Certainly as architects we work very closely with the teachers, and we talked a little bit about curriculum and pedagogy, and so we really work closely with them to understand how the built form is derived by the pedagogy and how they want to teach.
Methods of teaching and learning have to be understood, and that absolutely comes first, and the building design follows. It's very important to have that sequence of events, and I'm sure that that's why many of the buildings we're involved in are proving to be very successful.
As architects, it's a very exciting time to be involved in educational architecture. But the final outcomes, I suppose, is to see the happy faces of the kids using the spaces, and at some of the openings, it's been something that's been very satisfying for us to see the teachers and the kids using the spaces joyfully.
Flexible and adaptable learning spaces today incorporate environmentally sustainable design features like natural light, clean air, water and energy-saving devices. Here at Malvern Primary School, the special Learn Through Play program allows the prep students to develop their skills in a variety of role plays, like a party setting, a retail shop, and even a restaurant. They learn through hands-on activities that engage their imagination, their creativity, and their social experiences.
Hello, my name's Jenny. I'm from Malvern Primary School. This afternoon we're showing you our play-based learning program at Malvern Primary. It's a very important part of our program. We find it's a seamless transition for the children coming from kindergarten to school. We play in this area 3 or 4 times a week across different times of the day. The children explore different programs or different activities that we sometimes set up. Sometimes the children choose themselves. Often teachers can direct the activities that they'd like the children to experience. It's a fabulous way of getting the children to promote their oral language skills, for them to connect to other children, to share, turn take. So we've got our shop. So in our shop we've got a lot of maths going on. They're putting prices on goodies and they're going shopping with a basket and they're exchanging money. They are experiencing capacity activities through our water play and sand play. So they're filling up containers. They're trying to guess how many spoonfuls of sand or water it would take to fill a container. From the home corner, the children are interacting with each other in a social setting, in a restaurant or a home setting, exploring place settings, making sure there are enough place settings for people at the table, asking each other what they'd like on the menu. So we've got children who are writing lists of children's orders at our restaurant. We've also got children who are playing with or just doing writing. So they're actually writing invitations or writing letters to others in our office area. So the skills that come from literacy and numeracy through this non-threatening situation is such a benefit for the children and something we shouldn't underestimate the value of. Most importantly, I feel that we're developing the children's oral language skills, which leads us into things that we can write about. So the play situations that we have in our play settings actually promotes writing skills so that they feel that they've got something purposeful to write about, something that's been a natural experience for them that they can then put into writing. We've seen a dramatic increase in their ability to put down their ideas that they've spoken about and then put them into written form. Also with their maths, being able to actually talk in maths language when they're at the shop or when they're at the capacity areas, using the language of maths in the discussions they have with each other whilst they're playing. I think I've really enjoyed being able to offer this for our children coming into school. I think little children learn in very, very many ways, and one of the ways they do is by hands-on learning. This provides them that opportunity to be hands-on with all of the things that they're doing. Also, giving them more concrete understanding of actually the process involved in learning and making learning fun.
After the break, we meet Michael Bradshaw, the Director of Music from Luther College. He works with secondary students in developing their musical skills, not only to play, but also to create the exciting music of today. Today's schools are better equipped with a greater variety of musical instruments and are often accompanied with the technology for recording and editing students' own music. Using the latest software, students can write, create, record and publish their own musical creations in the Music Lab.
Hello, my name's Michael Bradshaw. I'm the Director of Music here at Luther College. I've been teaching for 23 years and at Luther College for 13 years, and in that time I've seen significant changes in the way we execute music and teach music to students from both the beginner level both to an advanced level. Program's incredibly different these days. Probably the most significant change I've seen education-wise is the access of students can have towards music. I could get a student who's never touched an instrument actually come into my classroom, start to create music with a very simple concept, and then develop that to quite a sophisticated thing by the end product. We have a number of kids involved here at Luther in our program. We have a large classroom and instrumental music program. We have probably over a quarter of the school learn an instrument, which probably equates to about 320 plus students. They can then be involved in anything from a small piece string quartet to a 60-piece symphonic band, symphony orchestra, big bands, rock band, choir, you name it, they basically can do it. We also have a number of students who take music as a subject, right through from Year 7 right through to Year 12, where Year 9 and 10, 11 and 12 it's an elective program, where 7 and 8 it's a core plus an elective program. Here at Luther College we have the programs where students actually come into class and they can sit down in front of a computer, they can think of a single melody line and develop that into a full rock band version or full orchestral version or symphonic band version. Then they can have the liberty of coming down to the studio where we run a program where they can actually then record it, hear it back, fix it up, add all sorts of different parts and then mix it down to a final product and actually can walk away with a CD.
Hello, it's Mr Gadget. Look at this exciting gadget. It's a visualiser. We use this to display 3D or 2D objects in real time on a wall or board. Look at this, we can study animal behaviour, we could share a book in a group, we could create words, investigate electronics. With a visualiser, you just don't get the picture, you get the big picture.
Yarra Valley Water is taking an active part in education today. Their program helps schools put in place some water initiatives that not only save the school money, but also teach the students how to manage our precious water resources. They have a whole lot of mobile resources to share with students and teachers, and best of all, they can be borrowed for free.
So I'm Jenny Hiller, I'm the Education Officer at Yarra Valley Water, and we have a range of activities and resources that we allow schools in our area to use, all free of charge. We also provide assistance to them when they're learning about water, and some of the activities we've got out here at Emerald Primary School today. So we have a drains and ladders game that the kids can use to learn about stormwater and what they should and shouldn't put down the sink. We lend that out to schools, so that's just on an as-needs basis. We've got a lending library which contains a whole range of books and CDs and interactive DVDs that the schools can use. It covers everything and anything to do with water. We know that schools are sometimes short on resources and money for resources, so that's available to our schools to lend for 3 weeks at a time, again, all free of charge. We also have some activities that we bring out to the schools. We've got an interactive stormwater model that the kids can actually interact with and put dye and water and that sort of thing, so they can see the effects of things that go down the drain, things that affect our stormwater systems in our creeks and drains, and also looking at water usage around the house and how grey water can be reused. We have a badge making activity, so we have the kids writing their own little water saving messages, and they really love the badge making activity. They can wear their badges around the school, which also, I suppose, shows off their artwork. And we also have a big book about water, which has been a real hit with the schools. We use that with the prep to grade 2s. It covers 4 different topics. There's the water cycle, the water supply system, sewage system, and also water conservation. It's nice bright pictures, and the kids really love that one, so it's been great. So we also implement the Water Learn It Live It program in the Yarra Valley Water region with schools. And Emerald is one of our star schools in that program. There's additional resources that come with that. We have a curriculum resource for teachers, and there's also an accreditation part to that program as well. So schools can work through some milestones and be rewarded for learning about water. So some of the initiatives that Emerald Primary School are learning about in the classroom, the kids are then taking out into the schoolyard and implementing those in their school. So So Yarra Valley Water has just launched a new campaign called Choose Tap. It's all about encouraging our residents and our school kids to drink tap water, choosing tap water over bottled water or the alternatives, the soft drinks and the juices that are bad for their health. So it really is all about the children's health. We've got some free drink bottles that we'll be giving out to schools to encourage them to use tap water and refill those for their lunches and snacks, and also for in the classroom as well.
Hi, my name's Sue and I'm the AP at Warrandyte Primary School. People often ask what's an AP. It's actually an assistant principal. Well, it's interesting, the qualifications that I've needed to become an assistant principal. A lot of it has to do with building up experience over the years, obviously working and managing with people. I did a whole range of different leadership courses, and I suppose that they're the actual things that you need that will eventually get you into this role. Working with people, I think, is really the most important thing. I think the best thing about being an AP is working with all of the students across the school, working with the staff. One of my roles is curriculum, so I love just working with teachers and students about teaching and learning. This is my third year as assistant principal at Warrandyte Primary School, and I really have to say I've had an absolute ball. My roles have changed, have grown. I've got to know the staff, the students and the community really quite well, and I'm really looking forward to next year and seeing what that brings in my role.
And that's all we have time for. Next week, we'll bring you more of the exciting world that is today's schools.